Hello crafty friends, in today's video I'm going to show you a very quick and easy way to make these playing cards vintage looking, perfect for your junk journals, and I'm not going to be using any inks or fancy products. To start off with, I want to create a little bit of dimension on the card. So I'm going to stick down some old dictionary pages onto the face of the card. I'm going to use a glue stick for this, and I'm just putting it in a certain section, just a little bits, not all over the face of the card, just in random spots. Press it down really well and make sure it's 100% dry before you do the next step. We are then going to peel off the dictionary paper. You will see there where the glue was, the paper will stay behind, leaving a really beautiful and unique effect. You can use any paper for this. You could also use vintage music sheets, pages from an old novel or an old book, even a magazine paper. I did find with this using a dictionary page, because it's slightly thinner, it left this really beautiful effect where in some places the paper came off but the wording stayed behind, and it created a really beautiful effect. Because the face of the card is shiny and it won't really hold any kind of paint or medium, we are going to cover that with a piece of tissue paper to give it some tooth so that it can add the color. I'm using a tissue paper, the same kind that you'd use for gift wrapping. You could also use a napkin if you don't have any tissue paper, and you could use the inner layer of a napkin, which is more white. You want to try just keep it as white as possible so that the next step where we create the vintage look works better. I'm adding my tissue paper with Mod Podge. You could also use gel medium or craft glue. I'm also adding a layer of Mod Podge over the tissue paper once I've stuck it down. And you can see how beautifully the dictionary paper is shining through. I would really love if you subscribed to my channel. I have lots of videos coming your way: junk journals, art journaling, mixed media, and how to make your own ephemera. Don't forget to also hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Once the front tissue paper is dry, I'm going to do the same on the back. I don't want the back to be just plain and unaltered, so I want to give it the same effect that I'm going to do in the front. Once everything is nice and dry, I'm going to trim off the excess with my scissors. If you prefer more of a rough look and more rustic, you can just actually tear the overhang. These are so quick and easy to make that you could make a whole batch, make like a mass production, so you have them all ready for when you need them in your junk journal. They also make a great happy mail if you'd like to send to one of your crafty friends, and also great for swaps. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I won't be using any inks or fancy products to color these. I'm just going to be using plain old coffee. I've made up two little batches. One is a little bit more thinned out than the other. I'm not quite sure which one I will need just yet, so I have both available. I've got them in small little cups, and I've put about a teaspoon of coffee and filled the little cup about halfway, and that's the one that I found worked best. It was a bit more concentrated and really gave it the look I wanted. I'm not doing any special tricks at this point in time. I just have my paintbrush, and I'm just dipping the paintbrush in the coffee and then painting it onto the face of the card. I'm aiming not to make the coffee just painted flat up and down. I want it to make pools and puddles, so as it dries, it creates beautiful like stains, which I think is quite vintage and gives it that vintage feel. You could also use tea instead of coffee, but you will obviously get a different kind of tone and color, but that would also work. It's all personal preference. I decided 6 was enough to demonstrate this technique, and once it's dry you can see just how beautifully it has dried, and it's got darker areas with like edging and splotches, and I really think that looks great. Some of the tissue paper has wrinkled a bit, but that gives it a really nice feel too, and really great texture. I'm going to do the same on the back of the card. The idea is that this card has been through the mills and is 100 years old and it's looking really old and vintagey with foxing and staining. There's no right or wrong way of adding the tea or coffee. Just do whatever feels right and that you enjoy doing. I'm also going to add a little bit of splatter. So I'm putting the paintbrush back in the coffee and just splattering a little bit over the top just to create a few darker areas. And once it's all dry, you can see the beautiful vintagey feel it has. I have 5 of these that I'd like to give away. I'm going to keep one for reference. I'm also going to have some available for sale in my Etsy shop. You'll find the link to that in the description box below. If you'd like to receive one of these from me as a happy mail, please just comment below. And in 2 weeks' time, on Sunday, the 3rd of April, I'll randomly select 5 people to receive a happy mail. All you'll need to do is just contact me at my email address and let me know your postal address so I can post them. Please do check back on the 3rd of April. I will put all the names of those receiving the happy mail at the top of the description window. I have no way of contacting you, so please do check back so you don't miss out. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you were inspired to create your own vintage altered playing cards. I will see you again soon. Bye.